listening to the Recovered Life Show.
But I have to tell you, I've got a recovery thing to talk about, Kristina.
Please.
This was such a production show getting this going. It
was.
looked so simple, but we had every technical problem. And this brings us to this whole overarching perfection thing, right? And I know it's Valentine's Day and we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Because we've got a great segment we want to show everybody about Machine Gun Kelly, which
right.
it's
going to tie right in.
This is going to be great.
You mean you suffer from a little bit of perfectionism, Damon?
Oh, come on. Big time.
I watched it from afar because
Big
I'd
time.
already been through COVID. But yeah, it was a struggle.
Let me tell you, coming off of COVID, not feeling the best, hacking up a lung, having a little brain fog, and Kristina's just walking me through because I'm just like, I'm pretty good technically.
Yes.
But we had some weird audio issue where for the life of us, we couldn't solve it.
Well, I mean, giving up our perfectionistic tendencies is really difficult for those of us in the recovery community. And I know it's like one of the keys. And here's the sucky part of it. The only way that you can learn how to be human is by being human. The only way to be comfortable with less than perfect is by being less than perfect. And so there is a rainbow after all of this. It's worth it. I know a lot of people that I have been in recovery for a long time with suffer from it as well. And it's just so good to kind of go into this whole situation knowing that it's going to be what it is. And we are not perfect. And, I know that sounds glib. I know that sounds like, well, of course we're not. But I believe strongly, and it's definitely my case, that I thought I had to be perfect to be worthy. And it drove me to use substances. So I think it's an important topic to talk about. And I think it's an important lesson for every person. And it's one that I'm going to keep relearning and learning and learning as I continue.
Well, I'll tell you, I always said this recovery thing would be absolutely great if we didn't have to have powerlessness and unmanageability. Those two things I've struggled with since day one. Right? Back in the early 90s,
right.
Little Damon Frank was struggling with powerless and unmanageability.
What do you mean?
Oh, come on. And you know what? And this is the whole thing about perfectionism. One of the things that has been great about our Clubhouse community is that it's so not perfect.
Correct.
But the imperfection of it makes it perfect, Kristina. Like we've had some amazing Clubhouse rooms just based on imperfection.
Yep. Absolutely. And it is the beautiful part of life. And if you were raised in a home like I was, that you weren't allowed to, yet perfection was actually attainable, was put in your head, whether it was actually said to you or you just decided. Plus, we don't live in a world that really embraces that. I think we're walking toward that. I wouldn't say we're running toward that, but I think we really are. And I think that people are starting to see behind the scenes. But there's a lot of good that comes out of social media. And there's also a lot of comparison that comes out of it. And so it's important to talk about it. I struggle as well as anybody else with insecurity, frustration, turning in work. And lately I've been thinking about this concept, and I'm borrowing it from another coach, whereas go for B+ work. Go for B+ work, because there is no report card at the end of our life. I mean, there is maybe a report card if you don't live your life. Then that's the true fail. Everything else is an experience.
Well, you don't want perfectionism to stop you, right? You don't want it to stop you from actually executing. And this is the big thing that we've learned on the Recovered Life Show. When we first started the member community, look, it was less than perfect. But we kept doing it, and more people joined, and it became something way bigger than we could have created on our own. And it's the same thing with the show. You can't let it stop you from really doing what you need to do. So if you're going to get a B+, if you're going to get a B-, and do it, it's better than it's better than not doing it at all.
Yep, it absolutely is. Why not? B+ is a great grade. And I want to live my life, not some kind of, ability to try to make an A+ in everything I do. If I want to have an A+, that means I'm never going to try anything new. And what a boring life. Honestly, I did not get sober from alcohol to live such a boring life. It's like being in prison.
Totally boring. And and here's the thing, what I found, so much of just recovery is showing up, right? At first it's showing up to the meetings, and then it's showing up to work.
Right.
It's showing up for your family. Just being there builds a momentum. And I think people forget about the momentum, and us just being off air for a week.
I know.
Just me not doing shows for a week, when we were doing several shows a week, I felt like a lack of momentum. But I also know it's just like, listen, things aren't going to be perfect.
Right.
And we just need to get that momentum going again. And the best way to build that momentum is just to start. And I think it's the same way in recovery. If there's people out there that are listening and they're struggling with staying sober, or they're trying to get sober, and they're thinking tomorrow.
Right.
Today would be my message.
The blessed Monday. When do I stop doing what I've been doing? Now, get to a meeting. Don't try to figure it all out. Do not go there. That was one of the things that was spoken into me when I first got sober. I had no idea that there was all of these options out there. And so when I first discovered it, and people actually understood why I drank the way I drank, it was like coming home. It really was. And it got better and better and better. So hang in there.
Keep the conversation going. Join Recovered Life, a community of like-minded people who are looking to live their best recovered lives. Membership is free, and you can apply at recoveredlife.us.